Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jose. I'm part of the Throwing Bows team. So welcome to Throwing Bows. Hopefully you were able to see some of our other previous episodes where we broke down UFC Fight Island 7 and also LFA 97. These are going to be just some breakout segments that we have. And so this one is going to be about the most exciting fight that I found happened on the UFC Fight Island 7 card. And so if you please like the video, please subscribe. All of that can be right below on the YouTube. Also, if you have any comments, we would love to hear from you. Our Twitter handle is @BowsThrowing on Twitter. I know that everyone's like, oh, you guys only have YouTube and Twitter. We like to keep it simple so this way we can get to you guys and see your comments and we're not missing anything. So with that being said, this is my opinion. These views are not shared by Maria or John, and so we'll move forward from there. So in this segment, what I like to do on this breakout is, for the most exciting fight, is I look at the fight and I basically say which one was the one that I could watch over and over again. Now, this was hard because UFC Fight Island 7 from Abu Dhabi, card was stacked. Sean Shelby did a great job filling out that card. The prelims were amazing. The main card was amazing. All of that was amazing. So with the gravity that there was, I thought what would have been probably the toughest fight and then who persevered through what was probably some of the biggest nerves on the card. And so for me, the exciting fight of the night went to Soriano and Todorovic. And Puna pretty much taking this fight with his left hand in his grasp and taking it all the way. He was coming off of basically having 2 fights get canceled on him in 2020, so he hadn't fought. So if you would listen to previously when we were talking about ring rust, Puna, you would again forgive him if he came in and had ring rust. He had 2 fights get canceled on him in 2020, so he hadn't fought since 2019. So he comes in, he's got ring rust, and let's give it to Storytime and let's give it to Extreme Couture, who is his team. They had him trained up, and so you could definitely tell that even if he had canceled fights, they were at least keeping him in the gym. They were working with him, and he has definitely gotten better. Now, he has this background as being a wrestler, and that's true. He, if you watch some of his fights, he has wrestled. But I will say I do like the all-around fighter Extreme Couture is trying to make him be, as you saw, because he got a knockout in this one, and he did it with his left hand. So, just a little bit about Puna. He's coming into this one. It's the first fight on the main card, and so it had started on preliminaries on ESPN, and then it moved to ABC. And so there's this big hoopla. There's this big introduction. ABC hadn't had fights in 20 years, and now the UFC's back, and so now the first fight out of this to start this card, which is supposed to be, because it's ABC, it's supposed to be getting broadcasted to an even bigger audience, is Puna, who is coming off of some rust because he hadn't fought in a year. And he's fighting Todorovic, which he's a nasty Serbian. This was a really big step up for a guy who hadn't fought in almost a year due to 2 canceled fights to come in and fight the opponent that in Todorovic. This was a really big step up, and kudos to him. So it's a big opponent, it's a big stage. It's the very first fight on the main card of the first time ESPN I should say that the UFC is getting on ABC, and so there's a lot to it. And I just think that what you see is that Puna comes out. He's a southpaw. He mixes it up really well. He was doing some kicks. He had a good chin. He got hit a couple of times. And there was a couple of times where he kind of ducked in and Todorovic hit him with a knee. And he took it. And so he's got a really good chin. He kept it standing. Now, a couple of things I wanted to definitely highlight was that, Daniel Cormier, DC, and Hardy kept calling back to Puna being a wrestler and wondering why he wasn't actively trying to take Todorovic down. The game plan being said, hindsight's 2020, he knocks Todorovic out, and so you kind of say, okay, well that can you could forgive that. Like, he didn't wrestle. You know, it kind of looked like the game plan is that, yes, we could take him down, but there are things that Extreme Couture wanted him to work on. And he was getting touched, but he did a great job of also touching Todorovic back. So, you know, there was just a lot of times in the beginning where you could tell he was probably a little bit nervous. He was looping some. Now, he was landing, but he was looping some of his left hooks. And, you know, DC says something about it in the middle of the fight, that he's looping too many of the punches. And then in the knockout sequence, in the ambush that comes to basically take Todorovic out, he just goes from looping his left hands to just straight pushing them in, and he just starts straight line beaming his left hands right at Todorovic, and it was a straight left from that just met Todorovic while Todorovic was trying to throw a right, and so he kind of changed. It looked like he was going for a level change really quickly, and Todorovic was trying to anticipate it with a right. He wasn't there for Todorovic's punch. He was able to beat Todorovic to the punch, get his straight left in, and that was it. That was all he could do, and then you know, it had to get wiped up. So what I will say is that coming out, having all that stress, I think that all the fights were good. No one is knocking any of the other fights. You know, I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying with all the pressure that had to be on this fight, with Puna not having had fought in a year, due to it wasn't his fault. It was just the fights were canceled due to not having fought for the whole year of 2020. I think Extreme Couture did a great job prepping him, not only inside the octagon, but also in his head. He came out, good game plan, was able to get his jitters under control, stopped looping punches, and when he landed straight punches, was able to take Todorovic out. And so that's why, in my opinion, it was the exciting fight of the night, and he is the exciting fighter of the night. Even though you could give it to Holloway, you could give it to Condit. I'm sure if you have any other fighters that you think could have deserved it, definitely I'm willing to hear it. Go ahead and make a comment again below, and you know, I'm more than willing to read it. Our discourse is great. So if you don't think that Soriano deserves to have the exciting fight of the night, or you don't think that his fight was the most exciting fight of the night, I definitely understand. Let me know. Hit us up on Twitter at Bows Throwing on Twitter. And that's it. Thank you so much for taking time in the segment. Look forward to hearing from you. Have a good one.